In to the first SorareData AMA. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. I'm also the head of content here at SorareData. Joined today by Maxime Hagenbourger, who is the founder of SorareData, wearing the kit. I love it. It's out. That's what all the money is being spent on.
Yeah, first thing I've done waking up is buying this shirt. Yeah, no,
Perfect.
it's here for a while now. We actually designed this. It's not very pretty, but I don't really care. But it's we were scheduled to face like a Sorare football team,
Ooh,
but they never showed up. So
they were too
we're
scared
waiting,
to
guys.
five-a-side, just too scared to play, huh?
Yeah.
Disappointing. But yeah, so there's been some news with SorareData. And you just spent a little bit of news, yeah. For those of you, I mean, I assume everybody who is tuning in now knows, and for those of you who are catching up, we obviously introduced SorareData memberships today, and you just spent, was it almost 2 hours doing this exact same thing in French
Yeah.
for that community. Was there anything, like before we jump into any questions, is there anything from that discussion that either people misunderstood something or that there was kind of a common question from that audience that we may as well just get out of the way to start?
Yeah, no, so first of all, I would like to say thanks to everyone joining in, and thanks to everyone that have subscribed, or even that is using the website, whether they're using the Rookie, Pro, or Star tier. I'd like to say that we're committed to build stuff for everyone and for every tiers, not just the one that are paid memberships. So, but obviously it's a big step for us because I started myself building that like on June 5th, 2020. That's a long time ago in my book. In some people's books, it's like it's like very it's near, but it's like so far away for me. But yeah, I started on my own. I worked with Pap, our current product owner, and hired you guys, so Andrew, but also Aurélien and the dev team. In 2021, following our fundraising from Seedcamp, Kima Ventures, and of course Sorare. And so the objective was always to provide the best service, but if you want to provide the best service out there, you also have to pay people to develop it and to innovate and to have the resources, even pay for statistics. Like we have to pay for Opta, which is crazy expensive
Not
in my
cheap,
book.
yeah.
But so we have to pay for it anyway if you want to bring the stats. So yeah, we had to make some significant investments, and we have now to prove that we are useful enough to justify a commitment on a yearly or a monthly basis. And at the same time, making sure that people that want to start their Sorare journey can start on SorareData, building stuff, building the gallery, finding the right players, and start scouting for low budget galleries. But if you're just starting the game, starting with SorareData is very important, I think. So our main objective with like memberships was making sure that people that paid for the service gain time, save time when they use the platform. And so that's why we, for the Rookie tier now, you have like kind of frustrating things, but still access to a lot of data that is not available anywhere else. So yeah, but the objective was like not closing up the store and like if you're on the Rookie tier, not seeing anything else, not anything that is important, but building time-saving features for Star and Pro memberships. And so something I said before is that on the French stream is that, and I've said it at the beginning, we're committed to building more stuff for everyone. And so one thing that is very important for me is that baseball is going to be anything that is related to baseball. So any data that is related to baseball is going to be free for the like foreseeable future. That's a long time, at least not until I don't know, like mid next season. So we get the time to actually build stuff, and so we make sure that everyone like gets a fair opportunity at like trying Sorare MLB and having like the opportunity to use our service, and also giving us the time and focus that is needed to actually like build our own features, our own features. So I think that's important to remind people that if you want to build a gallery on Sorare MLB, you will be able to do it. Well, you'll be able to scout for free on SorareData. But also every new feature, whatever the next or the tier it will belong to, will be free at the beginning, like for at least 2 weeks. So that lets everyone like a chance to actually test out the things that we will be building. And yeah, like I said, if we're committed to building like a lot of stuff for everyone, and if we have like a strong membership numbers for and we have like enough money to hire more people, cover more sports, cover also other games than Sorare if some other games come up. I'm sure we'll be able to fit a lot of things in the rookie tier, while like pro memberships and star memberships get a lot of added value also. But I feel like if a lot of people pay for the service, it will make sure also like the small guys can, and the small galleries can profit from what we have to offer. And so I've seen some. I'd like to thank everyone that has sent me messages on social media. I don't read mentions on Twitter because it would be too overwhelming for me, and I'd like to. I know that everyone wants to say what they think on social media, and that's fine. But it's like kind of for my mental health very important that I don't focus on negativity or stuff like that. And I get that people can be mad that they lose access to a service that they like, and that's kind of a nice thing. Is nice thing to say for us, because like that means that we built something that is significant for the ecosystem. But yeah, I'd like to say like, and one thing that I heard a lot in the French community stream is that like they have concerns about like the solidity of the Sorare ecosystem, and they're saying like you're probably damaging the ecosystem by doing that, because a lot of new players won't be able to profit from a free SorareData membership. And to that, I would say two things. So one thing that is not commonly known is that like low value galleries, low value gallery owners do not use SorareData that much. Like it's like 15 to 20% of those players that use SorareData. You like basically like a career path on Sorare is you start on the website, you get frustrated by buying cards that you overpay, and then you start trading cards, and some people just say to you like, why this offer? It's not okay. Just go on this website and figure out a nice trade. And that takes time to actually acquire those people in our user base. And so the whole like onboarding process is on the Sorare side, and I think like I don't want to be held responsible for anything that is related to onboarding of new users, because it's not our responsibility. Of course, I'd like to open collaborations with Sorare, like offering free memberships to new people, like new users that are participating, for example, in the academy when they score a certain number of points, etc. But I'm like, it's on Sorare side, and we're not responsible for the solidity of the ecosystem. But furthermore, I think that we're confident enough in the ecosystem, and I have like this strong belief that like the NFT fantasy sports like sector is going to be huge in a few years' time, and probably we'll see some up and downs until then. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure that is the future of sports gaming. And so we won't even notice that in 2 years or 3 years time. I mean, the fact that SorareData is going to be a paid service and is going to introduce paid memberships, like, is going to be nothing in a few years time. So yeah, that's why I wanted to say as an introduction. Yeah, I get like first of all, thanks to everyone that has subscribed, and we're very grateful, and it's amazing to see the number of people that are already subscribed. Please make sure to actually test the rookie version and see if it fits your need, and then trying the Star or Pro plan. I get the concerns, and obviously we tried to prepare the community as much as we could, and saying that this day is going to happen someday, and this is the day. But I'm confident enough in the ecosystem, the community, and the whole model behind Sorare to say that it's just like the fact that we're getting subscribers. It's just going to make the ecosystem much stronger, and it will prove to the world that it's not just like, I don't know, some kind of Ponzi scheme or whatever that is just building on NFTs, but we're building more than that, a whole new experience around football, but also on baseball and other sports. And yeah, we are part of something that is much greater than just like some people that are launching memberships today.
Yeah, I think one of the kind of frequent questions or comments that I've seen today is that like the Star membership is not drastically different than what everyone had 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And there were had a few responses to that. And it wasn't until someone else had mentioned what I was trying to say, what I was trying to think, and they finally came out with it. But like we had been talking about this day was coming for a while. We didn't know today was the day, but we knew it was coming for a while. And I think we were talking off stream earlier today that it was either back in January or maybe back in 2021 that like we knew we were going to do this, and we started to be a little more open that it was going to happen. And at that point, the decision had to be made, like, do we stop making new products in order to just work on starting memberships? And then when the memberships were started, do we then just do all the new features and tools that we've done over the last 8 months?
Yeah.
And we thought it was better for everyone for us to continue making those and publishing those tools so that when you have your memberships, we have already built a site that we're really proud of and tools that we proud. And not to say we're not going to continue building stuff. I think that's the other thing that a lot of people are ignoring, that we have a track record over the last 2 years, particularly in the last year, 8 months, of coming out with new things. And so like what your membership covers today is going to be smaller than what it is in a month and 2 months and 3 months. And so maybe we were wrong in doing that. It feels like more people have benefited from the tools over the last 8 months than us holding them until now. But it was just like something I wanted to say when people were watching, that like,
no, it's actually
disagreeing with that decision, but like that was the decision we made. And hopefully before these memberships started today, over those last 8 months, the tools that you use, because like, no offense to you, but I don't think the site would be where it is today if it was just you. And so
probably
like,
probably not. That's pretty sure.
Yeah. So that was the decision we made. And so like people who look at the memberships today and be like, this is, the highest one is the same as what I had yesterday. It is, but it's because we made that decision 8 months ago, and we thought that was more beneficial to everybody than just us.
Yeah. So a lot of things to say about that, but yeah, you're right. It's like, so if we go back to January, for example, we launched a survey back in January asking people what would they pay for SorareData if the site was introducing memberships. And we actually like fit pretty well with what the user said at that time. And so and ignoring the fact that we've been developing stuff for the six next months. So I feel like the pricing grid, yeah, for small galleries, it's probably a bit frustrating. But if you're willing to invest time and money on Sorare, I think you have to have the right tools to actually do that. And that's why the monthly plan, I think, is great for those galleries. Just taking one month and just trying to build, like giving 100% for that month,
Yep.
and see if you make some rewards, and then figure out if the tool is valuable to you. So to small galleries owners, I would say, like, please try the rookie plan. If it's not enough or it's too much frustrations, please try the pro plan and see what gives. And I like to say, like, for people like playing All-Star Rare and I've been playing the game for a long time, I think I've seen people telling me it's like a no-brainer, and I think it is, because like a star membership is like two thresholds, two All-Star Rare thresholds, and I get, like, for some people that don't play All-Star Rare at all, it's a completely different story. But I'm talking about the players that are playing that, and I checked the numbers, like, this year, like, you had like 40,000 accounts that won more than 0.1 ETH. So I mean, like, a lot of people like are using SorareData to play in competitions and are profiting from that. And so I think for those players, I think, like, it's kind of a no-brainer. But our job is going to be, over the next couple of months, of course, introducing new features, because that should be a celebration day for everyone, because that means that the paywall is behind us, and that means I'm going to start working back on valuable features, and we'll have a full dedicated team on that, fixing stuff that is a bit cranky at the moment, and also developing new features that will be available to everyone for at least 2 weeks. At the introduction. So I think that I'm pretty happy. I'm not happy about, like, memberships, though. I'm still a bit stressed about, like, the numbers, etc. But I'm like, I know that today, from now on, I can focus on building stuff and not having to care about, like, introducing memberships, etc. It's like we're opening a totally new book, because now we're going to raise more funds. Based on those numbers, we are going to hire more people. We are going to cover more sports. We are going to introduce more features, and I'm just so excited to see what we're going to build next. And by subscribing today, yeah, you're supporting a team of people that have been dedicated to the ecosystem for the past year. You're supporting this guy that has been, like, giving a lot of time for the past 3 years now. And so yeah, I guess it's like yeah, I'm very tired, to be honest, because I spent the whole night deploying the memberships, and we were very excited to see, like, how this would play out, and couldn't catch much sleep. So sorry if I talk a bit weird, or if my accent is not perfect. I'm not I'm not trying too hard right now. But yeah, anyway, I feel like it's the opening of a total new chapter, if not a book, for us, because it will enable us to go way much further than what we've actually done today.
Yeah, I think all of that is really important, and it's worth noting, I think, that a lot of our development time recently has been about getting the membership set up. And from what I gather, that's just not fun work. And that, like, the fun stuff is, like, developing new tools that we think will help people, and doing it for multiple sports now. And we're going to speed that up now, because we have this gigantic project that has been dominating much more of your time than mine. That's now behind us. And so
Yeah.
I think if you're looking at what you get for each membership level right now, I think it's okay to look at that and say, this is the least I'm going to get for my membership. Like
Yeah.
our goal is to make more stuff, and we're not making more stuff to charge more. We're not going to charge for um, every new tool and feature that we're going to come out. We obviously already said we will have another membership level at some point. We're going to wait on that until we have the tools that we know are kind of the foundation for that membership ready, which is kind of the opposite of what we did for everything else. But
just on that membership, it's like, I don't want people to get like to be afraid about it. It's like, if you're getting a star membership today, you will get always the same features and more. But the legend membership would be like for more like players that want like to extract data and work on it on their own. I think it's like the most popular demand that I had since 2020. And yeah, like very detailed accounting metrics, and also like the ability to download your data. And these are stuff that don't interest like 95% of the people that are on Sorare right now. It only like have value for big galleries, and so we'd like to address this kind of gallery with a special tier. But it's like, if you're very successful at the game, you don't have no problem to pay for the Legend membership. It won't be like 100 euros a month, so it will be pretty decent. But it's like giving the opportunity to people to work on their own data, and I know that a lot of people are waiting for this. So that will be the Legend membership. We don't give any deadline on when it's ETA on when it's going to happen. It's going to happen when it's going to happen. Because one thing I would like to say also is that the introduction of baseball was very like problematic because it was kind of a running gag, because in private I was telling some people, like investors or people that that my friends basically, yeah, we're going to launch the paywall at that time, or yeah, we're going to launch the paywall at that time, and we probably had like 5 different dates along the year on that launch. And like every time we had like something new coming up, something new delaying the deadline, etc. And so yeah, I think people at some point, like they thought we would never do that, and they were like, yeah, every time I speak to you, it's a different date. So I'm finally very happy that it's out. But yeah, the introduction of baseball was was not a problem, but it delayed a lot of things, obviously. And yes, Sorare like ramping up, and so with the new sport probably this year, it's going to be a lot of work, and we have to have like the resources available to actually like follow them. Because if they introduce a sport that everyone is going to want to play, we'll have to be there for the people that want to do scouting and on a new sport that we don't know about yet. So it's like, yeah, we have to have the resources. So it was like the deadline was like this month to actually do that, because also we don't make money, so we have to pay people at the end of the month, and at some point in time, like, cash disappears. It goes to the pockets to people that we pay, and also Opta, that is like expensive. And so no, but they offer a good service. I wouldn't say great service since what happened last month. But yeah, we have to pay for it. And obviously, since Sorare covers a lot of leagues, we have to follow on that. So it's a price. But yeah, I'm great. I'm so grateful for the teamwork and the community's reaction. To be completely honest, I was really anxious about the announcement yesterday and didn't really look at the reactions. And some people that weren't like Sorare players or didn't know anything about Sorare were like, wow, the reaction is actually pretty good. Like, it's overwhelmingly positive. I was like, I didn't expect that at all. So thanks a lot for everyone that has sent comments. Any kind of comments, whether positive or negative, if it's like done in a civil way,
Mhm.
in a good manner. Like we get a lot of feedback every day through support, through social media, and we like feedback as long as we're not like insulted or people say you're going to destroy the whole ecosystem. What are you doing? So I'd like to say that because I think it's important on the internet. Like people often forget that there are actually humans behind the screens that are reading those stuff. And we're a small company. I don't make any money. I'm not paying any salary. Like I'm giving all my time building this. And obviously people now they're going to start paying for it. We are going to be like looking closely at what we do and expecting a lot of stuff, and that's fine. But you always get better results when you say it in the proper way.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the important things you brought up were the more sports that are coming at some point, or if there are more games that we cover. And I think it's important for our members and basically anybody who may be a member to appreciate that our goal is to cover everything. Like whatever Sorare come out with, we want to be what you use us for football. We want you to use us for baseball and whatever sports come in the future. Uh, we want to make that experience better for everyone. And so
Yeah.
to do that, we have to get bigger. Like the current group cannot handle 3 to 10 sports or other games, like whatever
Definitely.
the idea is. And so part of getting bigger is both showing you can be a profitable business and actually being one. And so the memberships are obviously part of that. And I appreciate that, like, it's been free and now it's not. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just need to appreciate that we basically reached the limits of what can be done for free.
Yeah.
And instead of keeping it like it is, we think that it could be much greater, and therefore that's the path we want to take, because we think this
Yeah.
could be amazing, and that's
Yeah.
where we want to go.
To sum it up, I want people to think that in like 6 months they look back at what they paid for the star membership and they're like, that was a damn bargain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what I want to do. I want like people to feel like we're cheap.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it's like, and yeah, I think like I said that before, but it's very important. I think like as an ecosystem, like so I was talking about that for years. And Nicola was talking about that for years. Like they're building an ecosystem and an open ecosystem, and so is the core website. But they also rely and they hope that other people will join in and develop services on that.
Mm-hmm.
And that I've seen like a French company trying to print out Sorare cards and sending them to you by mail, but having like a very detailed print of it. And that those kind of services like would never happen without Sorare. We would never exist if Sorare didn't exist. So we're obviously very grateful to Nicolas and Adrien. We often forget Adrien, but Adrien is a I
He
mean,
does get looked
this
over.
guy deserves all the credit too. I mean, Nicolas and Adrien are like a great duet. But yeah, I mean, it's like make or break time. I would say it's like we're going to prove to the world that the Sorare ecosystem is strong enough to actually like realize the vision that Nicolas and Adrien had, that is building an ecosystem that is sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. The sustainability shouldn't be overlooked as well.
Yeah.
One question that I've seen some people ask, and more have just assumed should be the case, but somebody asked whether we considered advertising on the site, and I'll let you speak on that. But I will say that we talked about it a lot. Like this isn't something that we were like, no, we're not going to do it. Like the the path to us being able to make enough money to produce more tools and grow the site was not like a 5 minute discussion of like, oh yeah, we'll just do memberships and that's it. Like we spent a lot of time discussing this, and advertising was one of them. And I do remember at least one thing that we discussed, that like for the amount of ads that we'd have to put on the site to like really make a difference would just completely ruin the experience. And I think one of the things that we've done well, and I'll give Aurelian a lot of the credit, is the design of the site makes it easy to use, and it's clean and fresh, and ads kind of
Except
get
the
over.
homepage.
Except, well, he hasn't really done the homepage yet.
No, sorry, and I would like to say that the homepage is like one of the big like next feature, and I'm very excited. It won't be a homepage anymore. It would be a dashboard actually, and I'm very excited to actually work on that later in the month. But yeah, so on advertisement, yeah, I guess like first I don't really like websites with advertisement, because I think the experience is very poor, and we would like to change the whole. We would have to change the whole website to actually like fit advertisement. I think it's not very profitable for us. I think like showing that many advertisement on the website like isn't really profitable for us at all, because like a lot of people are actually using browsers with ad blockers.
Sure.
And I think like anyway, like the future of web of like services on the Web3, whatever you call it, is not based on advertisement at all. And I think like I don't want to be dependent on that source when I think it's not going to be reliable at all. And I want to have like some kind of projections also on the resources that we have. And that's why I encourage anyone that is willing to pay for a membership, choose the annual subscription, because you get 2 months free if you think you'll be dedicated to Sorare, of course. But also it gives us directly more resources to work with, and more like ability to project about like what we can do with that. So yeah, I guess like it's not reliable, it's not great in terms of UX, and it's like yeah, I just it would change the website too much for reasons that I don't feel like are valid at all. But I understand that people are used also to using websites with ads, etc. But just like the ability to just like use an ad blocker and just forget about ads. And I don't want to have like the hassle to say, oh, you're using an ad blocker, stop using an ad blocker, etc. I mean, like, we want to be able like to have a community that support us, and we had like an amazing community so far, and I think it will go that way. I've said it on Twitter. I say hopefully the love story can last forever, and I really mean that. I think like sometimes it was like a love-hate relationship, because we had some fights about a lot of things, and that's what a community is all about, like debating about stuff and fighting on stuff, but also like working towards the same objective, that is making the ecosystem stronger. And I feel like that's what we are doing with what we do. That's what we're doing with what we do. That's a very cool sentence to say. I'd say I said I was tired, so sorry about that. But yeah, no, I mean,
I think one of
yeah,
the things is that we didn't want to start designing new tools or redesigning existing ones and thinking this is how the tool should work. And we're like, no, let's take this part of the tool and move it down so that we can have a banner ad here, and it just ruins the experience. And I think
yeah,
from the beginning, the site has always been built to be as helpful as possible. And we talk a lot about how a lot of the information on the site you can get elsewhere, and it may take you 10 minutes or 10 hours to get all of that data together. And
yeah,
so what we want to do is make that as quick as possible, so that things that might take you 10 minutes, we hope it takes 1 second. And then you
yeah,
can, like as simple as the auctions and offers page, or list on the card on a player page, like here are all the transactions that have happened. Like getting all of that information, not through us, just takes a while. and you can get it. Like we don't have things on the site that we say like we're the only ones who have this. Like we're hopefully very open about that. That
Yeah.
what we get is from a public API from Sorare, or we get it from Opta, which is our own contract that we have with them. But like there's nothing hidden that we get, but we feel like we've designed tools that allow you to get lots of information in seconds. And so a lot of the membership cost is based on what you want to pay to save your own time. And
Yeah.
I mean, we have talked about this on other shows, just like if you don't want to spend the money for the best cards in the game, you can do your research and find players who score similarly that are cheaper. But that just takes time. So you can invest time, you can invest money, you can do both. But a lot of what we do is to hopefully save time. And I think a lot of people actually underestimate how much their own time is worth until you start wasting it. And then you're like,
No,
oh,
but yeah,
that's it.
but it was like something I said like from the beginning, maybe in like September 2021, and when we said that we were going to be launching paid memberships at some point in time, it's like it was no secret at that point. But it's like, yeah, I want people like to actually save time, and I want to give the opportunity to people that like have a lot of time on their hands and are ready to spend time on the website, like give them the opportunity to actually look at the data and do their own work, do their own math,
Sure.
and that's it. And I'm like, that's why we also didn't want like to hide like valuations and stuff like that, for the people that are using the rookie tier. The price graph is actually accessible for any date that you want. You just have to click on the date picker, and that's not. I've read on a French website that was not, on the French thread on Twitter, that was a bug, but it's not a bug. It's a feature. I want people to actually take a look at the whole graph. I don't really care. They choose their own time frame, but I want people that don't have the time to click and choose the date and click on 3 months and like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's just basic things like that, and it's basically playing on like saving time. And yeah, on like bringing more data also, I feel like we're missing out a lot of stuff on like expected goals, expected assists, and stuff like that. And the thing is, we don't get that information from Opta because it's like a different plan from what we're getting right now.
Yep.
And with the next fundraising and the memberships money, I'd like to go way further than our current plan and actually get more data that Sorare isn't actually getting. So so yeah, that's why this today is going to enable so many things, and it's up to us now to thank the community's commitment to us, and just by delivering more and more stuff and making sure that, yeah, in 6 months we talk about this and you're like, $9.99, I'm paying $9.99 for this. I'm like, okay, that's a good deal.
Yeah. I think there's one question here in the chat that I was going to ask, and it kind of opens up a much bigger question. The question itself is whether we have an agreement with Sorare so that they don't add some functionality that we already have behind the paywall. And I think that brings up the question of like the relationship between Sorare and SorareData. And that's something we tried to cover in the announcement. And I think there's a lot of ignorance in terms of what the relationship is. And that I think many people may think it's much closer than it is. I think that's the general understanding, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so I think we should try to address that a little bit, because I think we're much
Sure.
more independent than people want to believe or do believe, and where
No,
that
but
takes us.
it's easy to speculate on stuff that like you don't know about, and like sometimes you're kind of wishing it happens, and sometimes it creates some kind of drama. And I love drama, so I understand that. But I'm like, so our relationship with Sorare is pretty simple. They invested some amount of money. I don't know if that's public, but anyway, it's like a bit less than seed camp in our pre-seed round. And so it was very important for us because it kind of gave a market validation and kind of gave a green flag and a green light to everyone else that was like considering investing, because they were like, okay, if Sora is investing, they have no like intention of killing the product, or they're like saying, okay, that's fine with us and we're supporting you guys. But actually what like Sorare has its own problems, and like for many months Sorare was understaffed, and they didn't have time like to actually like talk with us or care about us. And for like, let's say maybe until, I don't know, March, April, the only connections we had was like technical stuff. When something was not going well, I would just ask them if they could fix it.
Yep.
And the other way works too. They were like, okay, something is not working on your side. Can you fix it? Because they get a lot of support tickets because of us. And we're very sorry to the Sorare support team for that. I'm very sorry, guys. The
I'll
blame is
say
on
that
us.
a lot of this stuff was like API related, which meant it wasn't just a problem for us. It was a problem for anybody who
Yeah, but
uses
it's
the API.
like sometimes it's our fault, completely our fault, and but also we are a bit understaffed, and that's why there are a lot of stuff on SorareData. At the end of the day, when you look at it, like it's complicated to make sure that everything goes well, but we're making our best to do that. But yeah, and we started a bit like talking a bit more, but like I'm going to their offices like once or twice a year, not maybe like 3 or 4 times a year. I know people very well on their side. I know Brian, obviously Nicolas, some guys of the technical team, but they're also very concerned about like the regulation around the game, and they're very careful about the information that they give to anyone, and that includes us, because they don't want like to be accused of like giving information to other people and that benefit from it. So basically that's why we don't get any information. It's like, no, it's like it's crazy how like they are not talking to us, but it's crazy like to think about it, because you think like, oh, they invested in SorareData, so they have a close collaboration and they talk about things. But in reality, I have like never like received a message from Nicolas that tells me like, you shouldn't do that, or we should talk about something, and you should, like, I know you're planning that, but you shouldn't do it. So Nicolas is not my boss. I would never have Nicolas as my boss, to be honest. I think like he's too high for me. I would have someone else instead of Nicolas. No, but to be completely clear, they probably are very much careful about like the information that they give to us, and that's basically none, because they don't want like us to be informed of something when the community is not, and that makes total sense, since a lot of SorareData team members are playing the game, and I'm completely fine with that, because it's very important that we keep playing the game, and that we keep like getting the community trust, that we don't profit about anything. And I just want to mention something. It's like, do you really think I'm going to risk my business reputation for selling cheap cards because I know a deep dark league is going to be added? I'm not going to do that. I mean, if I do that, I'm the biggest jerk that is on earth. So yeah, no, I mean, my employees know about this. Like, it's like very important that we don't get any information from them. And so, yeah, I mean, one thing that we want to do is completely rebrand SorareData. Well, at least like having like the company that is embedding SorareData being renamed. Probably the product will never stop being called SorareData, but it's like also we want to cover other games. We're looking at several other sports, but also on the football side of things. But we want to do it when their ecosystem is ready and when we think it's the right time to do it. So yeah, the more independent we are from Sorare, the best it is for both parties. But that doesn't forbid us from having like personal relationships with some people over there. And hopefully we crush them the next time we play football against them.
Yeah, I think it was just there felt like, and I've been in the Sorare general Discord today, reading some feedback and on Twitter. So a lot of what's been said, like I've seen. So we're not like ignoring it. There's just a lot. But I think there was a thought that, yeah, just like you said, that like Nicola would call you and say like, this is what you have to do. And
I have a daily briefing with Nicola. He's calling me every day at 6 a.m. I'm not answering because I'm sleeping. So that's my collaboration with Nicola.
No, but I think it's important to say that like, yes, they invested in SorareData, which was disclosed like all the time, including when it happened. But yeah, there's no oversight from them. I mean, we have other investors who it's this kind of the same situation. We run the business how we think is best run, and that's what we're going to keep doing. And part of the reason for these memberships, and we mentioned it in our announcement, is that it gives us a little more financial stability, that we're not so reliant on investors. And so we can have even more autonomy to do things that we think are right. And part of that is lessening the impact that Sorare's investment has, and the others. So
yeah, and yeah, that allows us to take more risks, because I don't feel like we've been taking many risks in our company. I would like to be able to hire people and like dedicate time on stuff like building more elaborate features and stuff like that, and having the ability to see that if something is not going well, I just kill it and say, oh well, we invested time and money on that, but that's okay because we have like the resources to do that. And yeah, and I to close like the Sora subject, I would say like I feel like Nicola was just like investing in, or Sora as a company was just investing in Sora, like it was like a supportive investment, like a kind of I felt like a thank you, like for what you've done, and we are going to support you like the as much as we can, obviously. But I can say that on the technical side of things, like these guys are absolute monsters and have been helped several times, and especially when the new matrix was like released and we lost a lot of data because of Opta, and it was midnight and those guys just sent me the data, and it's like just, you guys are like amazing.
yeah.
So yeah, but I get it, like speculating is a human thing and you would like to see things that probably aren't there, but I'm welcoming anyone like to just spend like a day on our Slack, and you will see that the reality is like completely different.
Yeah. The how do I put this as nicely as I can? The amount of money invested by Sorare into SorareData is not big enough for Sorare to care. Like, if they lost it all, it's I mean, they have raised a lot of money. We all know that. And so the amount of money that came to us is not big enough for them to be all over us trying to figure out what, or tell us what to do. I'll put it that way. Blue Tomatoes in chat here is saying that they're ready for you to send the Slack invitation. Another question that came up revolves around us covering other games. and
Yeah.
you kind of touched on that in terms of rebranding. Um, do we? What's the plan there? Like the plan is obviously to do it if
No,
we
but
can, but
like
obviously how we're
yeah.
built now, we can't do it yet.
No, so I'm tired, so I'm going to be very talkative about it. So that's that's a
Everybody
great thing
wins.
for people to watch that, because like in normal circumstances, I probably wouldn't be saying that. But yeah, so obviously it's no secret that um, Sorare's competition is a bit like small today. The
Yep.
only competitors that we can map are Ultimate Champions, and we talk with them. And I think like what I've said before is that we'll do that. We'll do it if we think they're ready and when they think they're ready. And it's just a matter of like finding the right conditions to actually do that. But when we do that, we have to think very carefully about like the people that are using the website only for Sorare or only for other projects that we'll be covering. And so we have to rethink completely how we build the website. And so that means like people to hire, like time investment and complexity. And so that's why we will never say, unless we are 100% sure, when we and if we cover something else. But like today, I want like to say something like I want like people that uses the website today to say like 5 years, like in 5 years time, say, oh, 5 years ago, this website was used for Sorare only, and now I'm using it for every sport, and I'm following scores live with this, and etc. And I'm getting all the information I need about sports. And that's the end game for us. It's like we see like what SofaScore or FootMob or Flash Score or anything that comes with score or flash inside is, and they are doing a great job, but it's very complicated for us to monetize anything else than ads. And so NFT fantasy sports like give an opportunity to us to actually like monetize completely differently, because like scouting is rewarded. Like today scouting is not rewarded on FIFA or on Football Manager. It's rewarded if like I don't know, if you're happy at the end of your gaming session that like you played well. But Sorare is kind of like at the end of the day, Sorare is only like rewarding people based on their football knowledge and on their baseball knowledge. And we want to be like the tool that you use to actually like be successful in those games. And so if like other platforms are doing successful games, we will be around.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the end game for us is building like the next application that will be used by thousands, independently of like the games they play. But they just like have like a live experience that is redefined, and we have like the resources to actually build something that is great.
Yep. That kind of answers Dave's question here of where we see SorareData in 3 to 5 years. Although, if like, did you think we were here 2 years ago? Maybe not even 2 years ago, but it's
1 year ago.
yeah.
No, but it's always very complicated. But especially I was alone at that time, and like it was very complicated to actually like have a good story. I know my main investor, Seedcamp, and Sia was telling me like, yeah, we invested, but your story was a bit like shit. But like it was sorry for the bad word, but no, he didn't say it like that. But basically, like it could have been told a bit better, let's say. And like thinking about it and thinking about what we've done and about the sector, like it's pretty clear to me that there's a huge opportunity in this sector, and that's what we're following. And yeah, 1 year ago I was saying we're going to build like play to earn companion apps. I was like focused on the NFT side of things and not really the fantasy sports side of things. And today it's pretty clear we are 100% focused on fantasy sports. because I'm 100% convinced that it's going to be the future of sports gaming, and people will laugh at the people that bet hundreds of euros on World Cups without getting any return because they lose their money instantly because they placed the wrong bet. And I mean, to me, betting is a completely different story than what we're doing right now. And yeah, I kind of want us to be part of that revolution.
I think we'll do maybe one more question. We've had taken up a lot of time here, but I like this one from Antoine about whether we're going to leverage these memberships for a new funding round or if we're going to go more solo. And I think the heart of that question is how big we want to get. And I think how big we want to get today, meaning how big we think we should be in a year, may be very different because we don't know what Sorare is going to do in a year. Like, we don't know if in August 2023 they have 5 sports or 10, like, we don't know.
Yeah.
We know that they have football and baseball now. Like, that's what we know. And they've told us that they have more, but like what that means. And so our goal is obviously to cover more when more comes. But yeah, I guess the idea is like, how big are we getting here?
And they only talked of their plans about 2022. We don't know anything about their plans for 2023. So that's I'm just thinking about it now. And I'm like, okay, Nicola, come on a stream soon and talk to us about your 2023 plans, please. Yeah. So I guess like what I want to do in terms of like organizing the company is like having squads that are dedicated to sports. And I feel like it's the only way we can be still like agile and flexible and innovative. Because if we have like people working on several sports and stuff like that, it will be very difficult to actually introduce new stuff. And so we have to figure out a way to actually have people working separately on the same platform. But obviously like making sure the experience is pretty much the same for every sport. Like, I want like the player page to be the same for every sport. Like, I want like when you go on SorareData or whatever it would be called next, you expect the same thing for every player page that you go through. And of course you will have like different things based on sports, etc. But I want like the price graph to be the same. I want like the SO5 scores tab to be pretty much the same. And like the SO5 tiers, the seminar players. And I want like to, like, it's like going through a sports book or whatever, like not like a betting sports book, but like opening a book with like all the players in the world and getting their stats and finding the right player also. And so, yeah, that's, but to make sure that we deliver the right features for the right sports, we need to have like a dedicated baseball product owner, a dedicated football product owner, a dedicated, I don't know what product owner, a product designer, and developers. And so I want like to build like squads of 6 to 7 people that are actually working full time on a sport and like just crashing everything and delivering stuff at a very fast and impressive rate.
Yeah, I think, we want to point out that we obviously have some openings right now because we're not fully staffed for baseball. And every sport that comes on, like you said, that what we would love to have is like a dedicated team of people for each sport. And so if a new sport comes out, you can imagine that we will update our job openings and just make them longer. So anybody who we have openings now. So if you are interested, like, check out right at the bottom of our homepage.
Yeah. Bottom of our homepage, you have a "We're hiring" button. And if you know someone that loves baseball and is good at product designing, please let us know and we'll send you a membership for free. I don't know, we'll do something because it will be the main difficulty in terms of hiring right now. So if you think you have like the skills to do that and the ambition to work in a, let's say, fast growing, I wouldn't say fast growing, because when I see like what's the growth of Sora, it's like it's like too much. But yeah, a new company and people that want to build new stuff and innovative stuff, like, let us know. And sorry to everyone that has applied and didn't get a response yet. Obviously was very busy with the paywall release. And yeah, but I'll be going through all applications. I probably won't have the time to answer to everyone. If I don't, your application is very well and very much appreciated. But like, we probably have other people that fit better at that position. But I've received like very intriguing and nice applications. I love reading cover letters. I've seen like a lawyer, an attorney, like applying for that position, for that baseball product owner position. And I love this kind of profile, because I love when people try to get out of what they are currently doing. But sometimes you just go with the profile that fits more, because like it's a no-brainer. But keep those applications coming, and we'll make sure to study them.
Yeah, for sure. There are a few questions that have come up in the chat that we can't answer today, mostly because we don't necessarily have the answers, but we are looking into it. One of them was about how to pay for a subscription without a credit card. We're looking at that, or whether you can use crypto. We have seen your questions, and we're going to try to figure out solutions for those, as well as some others. A few people have asked for kind of a breakdown of the differences in terms of what you get for a pro versus a star membership. We'll have all that for you guys, so don't worry about it. This is just not going to be the second that we give it to you, but we have it.
But like on the pro and star difference, I think like you have to go to the pricing grid that is under like the boxes, the black, green, and white box, and just like go through the different features. And you have a tooltip that tells you exactly which features you're getting, if you're getting the pro, star, or rookie tier.
Right.
And I guess the best thing to do is just test it, and like test the rookie version. Like give the platform time. Maybe you will enjoy the rookie version, and you won't need to upgrade to anything. But like, just take time to test everything.
Agreed. So thank you to everybody who has joined us in the chat. A big thank you to everybody who has already signed up for memberships. It's just crazy to watch. Like, it really is. And thank you to everyone who has reached out to us, both with the positive messages and the constructive criticisms. Those are just as valuable to us in case there is something that we do really need to address. It's always much easier to address those when what do you
if I can say something about that, and because I've said it to the French community, and I think that's very important. So pro and star memberships, you get like the features guaranteed, they won't move. But like, we're monitoring everything, we are looking at feedbacks, and if we feel like we need to change, like add things to the rookie tier, or add things to the pro tier, or add things to the star tier, we'll do that. But just like any kind of like feedback that comes with it's too expensive, like, yeah, but it's not going to change, sadly. But like, make sure like if you see like that your experiences could be better with some of your suggestions, please send us a message. You have like the support@soradata.com address. We'll try to make our best to actually answer to everyone in a correct time frame, because Erwan is the only one doing that right now, and if he's getting like nice messages instead of like insults, basically, it's way more easier for him to like do stuff. And at the end of the day, you can always be mad at me, because most of the time it's just on my hands and and I have not enough time. So
No,
be mad at me, don't be mad at Erwan or anyone else.
yeah, no, I think it's always important to remember that when you're contacting one of us at SorareData, whether particularly if it's a problem or some issue has come up, we're humans and we prefer just to be civil. And so it's easier for us to want to help if the discourse is civil. And so that's all we ask. But yeah, thank you to everyone who has joined everything. I actually want to piggyback on what you said. Like, if there are tools that we think that are not currently in the pro membership that the star has that we think maybe it should be in the pro, like we'll add it there. Yeah. We're not going to go through and be like, we gave them too much. Like, we're not going to take away stuff. Yeah. You only get added. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And particularly now, like, we can go back to doing what we really like to do, and that's like building more and better stuff, and that's just going to be added to the membership. So
yeah, and that's what's really exciting to me, because I know Pap hates that, but he's not working on the baseball side of things, so I can do that, and I can do my, like, updates at like 2 a.m. in the morning, and like not telling it to anyone about it, and just deploying it. So yeah, you can expect a lot of that in the coming weeks.
Yeah, in fact, for those of you who do play baseball, I think there's a lot of live scoring stuff that people don't know is available. So check that out. And like we said, there's a lot more to come. That's kind of what we want to do, is just provide more. And so that's what we'll do. So thank you, everybody. And we'll see you on the site.